Hey everybody, it's Never, and I'm here in TOC because right now I'm doing my stuff that I do every week to try and get things. But today I just kind of wanted to open up every can of worms I can think of and talk about controversial things, because why not? So this is a series of opinions from a stream of consciousness, and I've got a list here that I'm going to be going over of all kinds of stuff, and I'm just going to say what I think. So I'll probably offend everybody. Alright, the first thing is elitists versus filthy casuals. Now, I'll tell you what elitists are and what filthy casuals are. Elitists are people that are really good at the game. A thing to compare them to is like virtuosos if you play a musical instrument. You know, that's somebody who's like better than you at it. And elitists are essentially better than you at World of Warcraft. And filthy casuals are the people that are not elitists. And there's sometimes some people in the middle, but you know, we don't care about them. So if you're an elitist, it means that you play the game all the time, and it's the only thing you ever do, and you're so good at it. But if you're a filthy casual, it means that you don't, and you're never going to be as good as elitists or whatever. Now, I think that both of these whole ideas are just a bunch of bull honky. Because you can have really good players that don't play very often, and you can have people that play all the time and they actually kind of suck. And that's okay. Like, me, I'm somewhere in the middle, and I'm not really that great at some things, but I'm pretty great at other things. I'm not one to brag, but on Ask Mr. Robot, when we're done with our raids, a lot of times I'm in like the 90th percentile, so, you know, people that really only play seriously, you know, for a few hours a week and only raid 3 hours a week can still, you know, beat people too. It's okay. So, you know, no matter how much you play, it doesn't matter. You can still have fun and be good at the game. And that's the important thing, is have fun. Alright, on to the next thing. Did I get my stuff? There's some boots there. I don't even remember if they drop off of him. Did it? No, I don't think I got what I wanted. This is a pretty cool shield, though. Some nice shoes, but I don't think I need those. Okay, we'll kill something else. I need the pants that drop off of Ice Howl for this transmog that I'm building. But I can't have it. I think they're off of Ice Howl. I better check. Yeah, they drop off of Ice Howl. Okay, time to go to the next place that I farm things from and move on to the next topic. Okay, where is that thing? It is right here. Wormhole generator for Northrend. Even though I'm already in Northrend, this is still faster because we get to go to the Borean Tundra. Huzzah! Okay, the next thing is PC Master Race versus Filthy Console Peasants. Okay, now, I think that's a really fun thing to do, but here's the bottom line. Consoles are good for some stuff. If you don't care about gaming very much, and you just want to sit down and play some games and not have to think about it very much, it's hard to beat a console because it's really simple. I'd probably say play a game on your phone or get like a DS or something like that, but if you want to do it on the big TV, a console's a really good non-committal way to play games without a lot of work. But you just can't beat a PC if you want to do it really well. I mean, I just have to say one word and it pretty much spells out why a PC is better, and that is mods. You can't do that on a console, or I mean, even if you can do a tiny bit of it, you can't do very much. Just look at the Steam Workshop, and that should be enough to convince you. So if you really want the good experience, look at Skyrim on the 360 versus what it looks like in my Skyrim videos, and that'll tell you enough about it. So anyway, I think that PC is better. It is just better in every way. It's even cheaper if you really know what you're doing. But consoles have their place too. Some people like that. So that's the second topic. The third topic is random numbers, so RNG, versus earning stuff through currency. Now, I've had some different opinions about this for a long time, and it's changed. I used to think earning things through a currency was a really good model, until I had to do it a lot. And anymore, I really think that random numbers are not that bad. I still don't think they're my favorite way to go, but there's something a lot more special about having a piece of gear drop that you really need than there is about saving up a bunch of frosty tokens of meat grinding or whatever, and then trading those in for something. it also avoids some weird stuff like renting trinkets. Do you remember that in ICC, where if you had a tank off spec, you could save up a bunch of frosty badges of death or whatever they were, and you could go buy a trinket, and then before the like hour-long time you had to give it back and get your badges back, you could just go turn it back in. So you rented the trinket. It was fun. Oh, I should have done this on 10-man, because it doesn't matter. You'll still get a chance on the mount whether you do it on 10 or 25-man, and there's way less stuff to kill. So yeah, I think random numbers, as frustrating as they can be sometimes, I think that they actually are a little more fun in the end. But I think there needs to be some sort of mechanism that, you know, enough is enough. I think that every time you run old content for something to drop, you know, the stuff that everybody actually wants, maybe it should up your chances of it dropping by 0.1%, so that at least you're gaining some ground over time. Because if any of us have done math, we know that it doesn't matter how many times I kill Malagos, it's still only like a 5% chance for the mount to drop every time I do it. I could have done Malagos 100 times, it's still a 5% chance. Doesn't matter. And I don't care about bell curves, because past events do not affect the future. So, the next thing is exclusivity versus welfare epics. Now, I don't think that there should be welfare epics. I think that's what blue items are for. And I think that pretty much everyone should be able to get every item in the game. Some just might need to wait a lot longer to do it. The next item is conveniences versus immersion. So a good example of this is like doing laundry in The Sims. I don't really ever think that was fun to do. Laundry in The Sims. It's just, man, it's not for me. So I think that it's nice to have conveniences in the game. The way I look at that is that gameplay, the quality of how fun it is to play and enjoy the game, is more important than anything, even lore or immersion or anything like that. For example, in Skyrim, sometimes I'll have like some really crazy stuff going on, and it does not fit in the lore at all, but it's really fun, so I do it anyway. And that's alright, we can do that. So conveniences, if they help the gameplay, are better than immersion. But fast travel, for example, I'm just not a fan of it. I think it's nice in the way it works in World of Warcraft, where I've got a lot of teleports, and they help me get to places, like kind of like how I'm going to do now with my Hearthstone. So the teleports help me get around, but I still feel like I have to go through some work to earn these teleports and to use them in a clever way and the long cooldown they have. I think that's a lot of fun, and it's also fairly immersive, so it's a way to have convenience without overdoing it. Alright, the next one is the age-old question of red versus blue. Horde or Alliance? So I'm going to tell you a deep dark secret that I've told before, but the secret is that I started out playing Alliance. Oh, and I was the worst. I was just unforgivably bad. So I started playing, and I thought, okay, I'm going to be something that no one else is going to be. I'm going to be super unique and be awesome. And so I thought, what race is so unique that no one would be that? I bet everyone's humans and dwarves and little things. I'm going to be a night elf, because no one is going to be a night elf. And then I thought, I got to pick the class that is just super unique. I bet everyone's going to be warriors, and they're all going to be rogues. So I'm going to be the most unique thing ever. I'm going to be a hunter, because not everyone likes pets, right? So in my attempt to make a super unique rare thing, I actually made the most common thing in the whole game, and that's a night elf hunter. At least I didn't name myself Legolas, or, you know, like X Legolas Ponage XX or something like that. So I started out playing Alliance, but Alliance versus Horde, here's how it is in PvP, here's how it is in PvE, and here's how it is in lore as I see it. In PvP, the Alliance is going to win Battlegrounds almost every time. And they're going to win Ashran almost every time, because the Alliance does one thing that the Horde will never be good at. And that is, they work as a group. They are team players. Even if they don't mean to be. They just have this hive mentality like a bunch of angry lemmings that you can't stand up to. Because man for man, I feel like most Horde players are slightly better than most Alliance players one-on-one. But you get groups in there and the Horde fall apart because everybody is a soloist and nobody's playing backup. So that's PvP. And that's why the Alliance will always overcome instance PvP, in my opinion. The next thing is in raids. Now, I did raiding with Alliance for a little bit and raiding with Horde for a little bit, and Horde are more serious. They just get down to business and get it done. But that also means people are grumpier. On the Alliance side, everybody was a lot more carefree, but boy was it really difficult to get things finished. Now, that's probably not really universally representative, but that was my experience, and it seems to hold true from everything else that I see. Finally, in lore. I think that the Alliance paint themselves in a much nicer picture than is actually accurate, and I think the Horde are ultimately, with maybe the exception of like Sylvanas and some of her friends, even though Sylvanas is wonderful and kind of amazing of a character, I think that the Horde do a good job of just kind of being legit about things. They say it like it is and do it like it is, and that's what I like about the Horde. Is it's just what you see is what you get. It's not a lot of tomfoolery and facades like the Alliance have. It's my opinion. Next item, default UI versus add-ons. Alright, the default UI, in my opinion, the default UI is kind of crappy. It's good at one thing and crappy at everything else. The thing it's good at is it's pretty intuitive if you have no idea what you're doing. If you don't have any clue, you never played a game before, the default UI is actually pretty great at teaching you how to play. But it looks terrible comparatively, and stuff is not organized so that it's good for you actually playing it. It's just got a lot of problems. But as a default UI goes, it's actually one of the better ones if you don't look at it. Add-ons, you do whatever you want. It's just wonderful, and that's one of my favorite things about WoW is that it lets you do whatever you want with the interface, which is really important to me. I'm gonna change this to 10, man. I don't want to be here forever. Yeah. Because for Onyxia as well, it doesn't matter whether you're on 10 or 25, man. You still have the same chance at the mount. Alright, the next one is new content versus revamping existing content. Okay, so I like revamping some existing content. I really think it's cool how they've taken some old stuff and turned it into 5-mans. I wish they would do that with some of the old raids, but I never want them to do that at the expense of new content. So it's really one of those toss-up things. I like it, but I don't like what it takes to get it. And since we've got the game going in the direction it is, and if you want to see more about my thoughts on this, look at my biggest problem in WoW and how to fix it video, which there's a lot of comments from people on that video that don't seem to have understood what I meant, and I may not have explained it very well, but that's fine. I don't think Blizzard will do it anyway. Anyway, yeah, new content is always better because then we have more of it, but I would like them to bring new content out in such a way that it doesn't become instantly useless as soon as the next content comes out, or at least a couple of tiers after that. That would be nice if content had a reason to stay consistently useful in some manner. And mounts and pets help with that, and I guess maybe seeing more of those would be a good way to do it. Alright, rarity versus availability. And that's basically the question of, should everybody be able to get everything, or should some stuff be limited to only a certain number of people? It's like Scarab Lord. Now, there is a person in the group I raid with that is a Scarab Lord, and it's a pretty big deal. But the other thing about that is that no one can get Scarab Lord anymore at all, ever, because they took that out. And so, what if it was their life dream to get Scarab Lord? I don't know. So, but then, does that make it so if everyone can get it, is it not as special anymore? It's a pretty difficult conundrum to be stuck in, because I forgot that raid leader guy is stuck on the sound for this. Anyway, it's a pretty difficult thing to be stuck in, because you want to be nice to everyone. You want everybody to have a fair chance at stuff, but you also want things to be special and rare. So what I think is that they should be rare for a while, and then over time they should just get easier and easier to get. Kind of like how legendary weapons are. It's not that hard to get them anymore, at least some of the old ones, and so it's possible for anyone if they want to do the work for it. And that's kind of how I think it should go. The next item is good customer service versus bad customer service. Which one does Blizzard have? You know, they have both. It really comes down to the person that you're talking to and how good they're doing their job. I've had really good experiences with Blizzard, and I've had not so good experiences with them. Most of the time I have good ones, so that's great. Along those lines, is Blizzard loves you or Blizzard hates you? You know what? Blizzard is a business. They're just trying to make money. They're going to do what makes their players happy as long as it doesn't cause bigger problems. So don't worry about that too much. Oh, where do I need to go now? Oh, look, it's the fairy dragons and the woodland creatures. I wonder if they'll come out to play. This is one of my favorite places in the whole game. It's kind of a secret. It's up here in Tirisful Glades. And if you stick around here at a certain time, then these dragons will sing, and it's really beautiful. So maybe I'll wait here for a minute to see if they actually do. The next thing to talk about is subscription versus free-to-play. I think a subscription model leads to a better game, but sometimes you gotta go free-to-play. If you want a premium experience like WoW, then subscription means that it will stay that way. It's not that the subscription is there to pay for making the game, as much as it's just an expectation of a level of quality. Games go free to play when they can't subsist on a subscription model, and so it's a symptom, not a cause. iPhone versus Android. You know, iPhone and Macs in general are right for the right kind of people, and that whole thing where Macs do multimedia better, that has not been true for like the past 10 years, maybe longer, because I do just fine without that, and the people I know that have them don't do any better. In fact, they have a harder time finding software that's compatible. But there is some really good, like, I would have a hard time imagining doing professional music without Pro Tools, but that's probably just because I don't know the alternatives very well. Come on, you dragons, sing already. But iPhone versus Android is the same sort of thing. It's kind of like that same problem before, where do you do PC or console? Well, an iPhone's great if you want to have it all figured out for you and you just want to sit down and use your phone and not have to care about it. You also give up a lot of choices that way. Android is great because it gives you a lot more freedom and a lot more choices, but in some cases requires a lot more work if you want to get really deep down with your choices and stuff. I personally use Android and have for a long time and am nowhere near switching. If anyone's interested in that, leave a comment and I'd be happy to tell you my stuff that I use with Android. Okay, really quick before we end this, some big ones. Creationism versus evolution. I think that they can both fit in a very nice model. Climate change versus deniers. I think the science proves there's climate change and human caused it, but I don't think we have any idea what we need to do about it. Vaccines versus anti-vaccines. I personally choose to vaccinate because I would rather definitely prevent diseases than possibly not even really have a chance at maybe something kind of possibly not really even going to happen. Science versus religion. I don't see how you can do without both. And that is my opinion on those things. Oh, one more thing, Thanksgiving. Okay, so there's a problem with Thanksgiving dinner. It has a ratio of 60-1. And what I mean is that it takes about 20 hours to prepare a Thanksgiving dinner if you're doing a good one. And by the 20 hours, I mean 20 person hours invested. So it doesn't take it would take one person maybe 20 hours to cook everything. But you have like 5 people cooking, then it's 4 hours each approximately. But it takes 20 minutes to eat, you guys. 20 minutes. All that work for a 20-minute long meal. You stay at a restaurant longer than that. I think Thanksgiving dinner needs to get fixed. Thanks for watching. I hope I didn't offend everybody, but I probably did. Just sharing some opinions. And leave a comment if you agree or disagree with anything I said, and people will probably comment back and we'll all have a good time. Hey, look, it's Sylvanas. Okay, thanks.